Houston, give me the beat. Bring it in. Bring it in.
Bring it in.
Pop Celsius. We're going to go with watermelon ice. Welcome to the 9th episode of the Boyd Sports Fantasy Football Podcast, AllTalk. This week we've had a lot of talk. I'm your host, Buzz Magic, a.k.a. Chris Franklin, a.k.a. Franklin Bros, with co-host, the Commit, a.k.a. Jordan Bowler, a.k.a. Bowler's Ballers. Welcome, folks.
Welcome.
Back after a Thanksgiving week.
Big week, a lot of trades, a lot of stuff happening. Oh, it's getting juicy.
It is getting juicy. There's a lot of text messages flying with nobody in the office.
Right.
Shout out to the guys putting the light show together. Shout out to the Boyd Sports bowling team over at Maple Hall. Brought some hardware back last week.
Yeah, they did.
First place. So congrats to them.
I think the big ticket. Did you play it all?
No, I'm just the general manager.
Okay. Well, congratulations to you.
quite
But then the big ticket I know was actually playing in our league, and
Big ticket Joe, groundskeeper Joe Knight, was a big part of that. Amanda Moore was kind of the ringleader that brought it to our attention. So we appreciate all of that. We like trophies here at Boyd Sports.
Yes, we do.
And they did not disappoint. They did not disappoint. I like it. So speaking of trophies, let's talk about some scores from this last week and who's getting a little bit closer to our trophy for this year's Fantasy Football League. We're going to go quickly on this because some matchups matter and others just don't. Sorry, guys, you're in or you're out at this point. Buzz Magic took down Big Mick Energy. That was a big game because of the playoff implications. You've got Bad News Bears continuing his dominance with 165 points, beating Two Claps. That was a big blow to Two Claps and Patrick. You have Big Ticket, who sneaked by Millsy Magic. Big Ticket, hanging on, buddy, hanging on. We'll talk about that later.
He's in it to win.
The Shanks came back Monday night to beat Daddy Bombshell. I think he was 40 points down. Drake May and some others, Hunter Henry. That's a move we'll talk about in the Make a Move segment. Came through for the Shanks. Cobra Kai, business as usual over Jake, the State Farmers. And, of course, Bowler's Ballers, your best outburst here in a while. Taking down the Webster football team.
Back, baby. We're back. We needed that win. Thank you, Webster football team. But, man, we needed that one. We needed that one bad. And guess what? I even sold off half my team, and we still won. Look at that. I don't even need them.
Trying to pull a Millsy. Millsy did that. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Millsy sold the farm, ended up just crushing the playoffs and won the championship.
Sure did.
Can't believe it. Well, listen, this is a great time to go into our Make a Move segment brought to you by Celsius. Live, Fit, Go. Thank you, Celsius, for sponsoring this show. Still looking for a title sponsor for the playoffs. Anyone out there, all you members that just keep getting this free content, we would like you guys to maybe throw us a bone.
I think what they you mean is you're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Bam. Well, making moves here. We had 14 total trades, so finally the floodgates opened. I knew it would open at some point. I kept guessing a week early. Like every show, I would say it's going to be this week. Expect some moves. Nothing seems to really happen. But then at the deadline, we had some moves. So honestly, not so much. There was one at the deadline we're going to talk about, but the majority of them all happened the day before. So really the day before the deadline, going up to really about midnight before the deadline, we had 14 total trades within like a 6-hour period, which is pretty darn good. That's quite a bit. So trying to keep up with that as to commish. Every time it happened, I had my setup where I was at my in-laws' house and kind of could keep track of all the draft picks as they're going. So the big ones, we had 14. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I got some highlights here. I know there's one you want to talk about, Mr. Co-host. So basically, I'll start off with the first, I would say, big domino with the firepower, which was myself with Bowler's Ballers and the Bad News Bears. So I got Bowler's Ballers received Bad News Bears first and third round 2026 draft picks. So first round picks are starting to fly. I sold off Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. I sold off my Raiders. See you bye. Actually, Brock Bowers did have a really good week, so it worked out really well for Dave. So I hope that continues for him. And Brock Bowers is the third round keeper for Dave, should he choose to do that. I would. And in return, I got Aaron Jones and Kyle Pitts for the 9th and 10th. I traded my 9th and 10th back to him. So I think overall, it's a good trade. I got some firepower out of some guys that were kind of, for me, not doing as well, not performing, but they're starting to perform for him now. So the timing's just right. Talk about timing. So that was a big one. The next biggest one really was you, Buzz Magic. You and the big ticket. The big ticket who's in it to win it needed some ammo. So he sold his troubled star player, spitting Jamar Chase. That's who he sold to you for a first-round pick in exchange for Bucky Irving and a ninth-round pick.
I talked to Jamar when he came on.
Yeah.
He owned it. He knows he made a mistake. He knows he was wrong. He denied it at first, right? And I think he went home, slept on it, got up, looked in the mirror, didn't like what he saw, said, you know what, I need to make this right.
Sure.
And he came in. I said, look, come to Fuzz Magic, come back. He's been on our club before. I think Brett and I have traded 3 times for Jamar Chase in our history.
I think you have. It's between you guys, really, who have had it.
Yeah. And so Jamar's back, and he did what I thought he was going to do. He's got Joe Burrow back, Joey B. The LSU vibes are pretty high right now with the whole Kiffin thing. So I feel like, there's some juice there. And Justin Jefferson, I got his LSU teammate from you for a 4th rounder. And he was complete dog doo-doo this last week. 2 catches. Kind of saw it coming with that quarterback, whoever that was in there. But I'm hoping maybe a little playoff juice.
Well, as I told you in our pre-production meeting, I thought you would have made some trades for some wide receivers much earlier after your injury to Malik Neighbors and a few of the other guys. I thought you would have made those sooner, but you got Justin Jefferson for me for a steal of a 4th-round pick. I lost picks. I lost money, currency in this. I traded him for a 2nd-round pick. I needed to move him. I had some people interested, but the last minute, me and you came up with a deal. It was the best deal for the Ballers at the time. And he's in a new home. But Jamar Chase has obviously an apartment or a timeshare, both of you in big ticket cities. That's where he lives every year. So basically, Bucky Irving, who I believe is a keeper, at least a 3rd round.
I had to give something up. But you want to get something, you got to give, right? That's a fair deal. And Brett did not want to trade. I don't want to give away our entire conversation, but since he did to Mr. Allen and others, I feel like it's okay to put it on blast. Sure. He had was a hard no sell. Really thought he was going to make a push. I had to give something up, gave him Bucky Irving. Bucky's been on my IR all year, hasn't contributed, I don't think, a single point to Fuzz Magic. Again, change of scenery, had to cut my ties, and I needed receivers. Like you said, I had Malik Neighbors go down. Garrett Wilson went down. You got him back, by the way, in that Jefferson trade.
Yeah.
And Xavier Worthy's been disappointing. Roman Dunze hasn't done much for me either. So I was in desperate need. I traded with Webby for Nico Collins a few weeks ago. That proved to be a good move. But now my receiving core is where it should be. Going into the playoffs, I feel good about it. So, Brett, always good dealing with you. Yeah, that's what we got.
And the last notable trade was with myself again and 2 claps and a scatterboo. I got rid of Saquon Barkley. Saquon, buddy. I thought when I drafted him, he was the future of the franchise. But I don't want to say it's all his fault, but the team, he's gone. So the Eagles in general, they seem to win, but I don't know how. But I got a 2nd-round pick for him, and I got a Mario Hampton in return. He is not a keeper, but he should return hopefully by Monday Night Football this week, and maybe I could throw him in the lineup. Worst case, he'll be available for the playoffs, which we'll get into in a second. So those were the big key notable trades. Like I said, there was 14 total, but those were the key notable ones to really talk about that really, I think, shaped everything. And then for Patrick there, for 2 claps and a scatterboo, he gave up a 2nd-round pick to get Barkley. And he had some other moves, too, with a couple other folks. And I feel bad for him now because he kind of went all in. And if you look at the draft sheet for next year, he's going to struggle a little bit probably till around 4 or 5. But he went all in. And I think he's on the outside looking in on the playoffs now.
We'll find out. Great segue to the upcoming matchups, right? So big ticket travels to Fuzz Magic. Kind of ironic that we played each other in the last game. So we'll see. Jamar might put up a dud for me against his old owner. We'll see. Millsy going to the Bad News Bears. That should just all but solidify Dave's first place reign. Right. I think I did the math, and he's locked in.
Dave is on the way to be the regular season champion, which also comes with $200 cash. Yeah,
congratulations to Dave. We got 2 claps traveling to Daddy Bombshell. So more than likely a victory. I say more than likely, but it's fantasy football. You never know. The Shanks going to Cobra Kai. You want to talk about that one?
Yeah, this was a hard one, but I think in our pre-production meeting we talked about it. This has to be the Bowlers Bowl of the week because there is a lot of playoff potentials. A lot. Playoff implications here, mostly for the Shanks. Really, Cobra Kai has nothing to worry about. He's already locked in, but he could play upset. Because if the Shanks lose, I would say they're pretty much going to be out. By points, if they lose and Big Nick Energy and Big Ticket lose, then he's okay. But for some reason, those guys pull off some wins. He could be on the outside looking in.
Question, Mish. I think everyone's looking for the answers on this.
Oh, yeah.
Right before the deadline, I mean, at the last minute, I see something come across my feed that there was a trade for Christian McCaffrey and Travis Etienne Jr. from Big Nick Energy, or to Big Nick Energy from the Shanks. But then the second portion of that didn't process. What happened? And why did that trade not go through?
I would love to talk about that. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that in our trade segment. So I say it in my emails. I say it in person. Please, whatever y'all do, don't wait to the last minute, because this can happen. And I get it, things got under the wire, but at the same time, if you're not prepared, this could happen. So Big Ticket and I had a small trade at about 11:53. And I literally said, I think that's going to be the last one. I was getting ready to take little miles fishing. So I'm riding along my father-in-law in the car. I said, I think that's the last one. Traded lines in 7 minutes. And then at 11:57 or 56, whatever it is, I see the got the ESPN notification. There's been a trade. I was like, oh, Lord, they all better hurry. There better be some jot forms in my email inbox. And so the trade via ESPN was accepted, right? So I don't know what the deal is. And then about a minute or two later, I end up getting the Shanks jot form right at 11:59. I got the Shanks.
Ooh, good job, Shanks. Good job.
But as being a good commissioner, I was trying to communicate with Big Mick Energy. I even texted. I said, hey, you better hurry. Like, you got to hurry. And he asked me, where can I find the jot link?
Oh.
And I said, do you not read any of the messages in our emails or our text messages? I even texted the jot link form in a hurry to try to help. And unfortunately, his jot form came back at 12:01. At that time, ESPN locks us out. So I was trying to be a good commission, help with technology and try to help, I don't say push it through, but try to help with the jot form. Like, here it is, like, fill it out quickly. And 12:01 came through ESPN. And then where confusion happened is the very next day, the ESPN automatically pushed it through. So the guys they made a roster switch.
I didn't like it.
Well, it was an accident because remember, it locks, so I can't do anything. But since those guys accepted it, in 24 hours, it automatically pushes through. So I thought it, but either way, I went to the back end. We got them switched out. That trade was null and void. And there's no one, you can't blame the commission on this one. I even tried to help in a hurry.
What's funny about fantasy football, I found this ironic, is Mick tries to trade for McCaffrey and Etienne, right? Two bona fide starters, put up points all day. And it doesn't go through. Well, guess what? DeAndre Swift and the Vidal dude for San Diego were like two of the top 5 running backs this week. They put up 20-plus points each against me. So he was better off not making the trade and giving up his picks and keeping these guys. And that's what I talked about on the previous episode, is you trade for the star players, and it's really these second and third string guys at the end of the season that are getting playing time, whether they're showcasing for the next year, their team's not any good. But it happens every year. But it's so hard not to trade for the stars. I got my boys doing the gritty over here. I played Magic with.
So that's what happened. That's the backstory. That's the truth. That's what happened.
All right. Well, great. Listen, the last matchup, State Farmers go to the Webster football team. And I'm sorry, Big Mick travels to Boulder's Ballers. We talked about that in our pre-production meeting, possibly being the Boulder Bowl. But the Shanks going to Cobra Kai is your pick, correct?
Yeah. If the Bowlers Ballers beat Big Mick's Energy, he's out. If I were to lose, I should still be in because of the points. But then it's going to all come down to what happens to the Shanks and the Big Ticket.
Okay. Well, listen, we'll throw the standings up real quick for everyone to see. You can see right now, Dave is crushing in first place. Tim, Cobra Kai in second. I'm on his heels in third. Again, going for that first round bye. You are in fourth. Shanks, Big Ticket, Big Mick. You can read the rest, and that's what we got. So, any closing comments, Commish, before we go into this Week 14 matchup?
No, it's going to be a lot of fun. This week it means a lot because last week we got a lot of these guys at 7-6, and I think if Patrick with two claps, and Scattaboo had one last week, we'd have a lot more drama of who's going to be in or out. But there's a lot of implications this week. This week, the wins really, really matter. And I think the matchups are not in Big Ticket's favor or potentially even the Shanks' favor. The Shanks probably could still win this game, I think, but they could. But the matchups, the Shanks have a lot of guys on bye. So there's also bye weeks this week. So I know it's going to affect everybody. And the ones that, like McCaffrey's on a bye. So that really, really affects him.
Ooh, I didn't know that. That is
Yeah. Yeah, there's bye weeks again this week. So we'll see how it all shakes out with this week. But this time next week, we will have our playoff show. We'll be knowing who's in it and who's out.
All right. Well, thanks for joining. Again, like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. We'll see you guys next week. Woo!
Let's do it again. Ready?
1,
2 claps in a woo.